Hey! Hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. Now, for those of you who have been longtime subscribers and viewers and followers and overall supporters of my channel and my videos, then you've probably seen a title like this before, where I talk about the word repetitive and its association with video games. The thing is, the reason I'm bringing this back up again, and I think I'm going to consistently bring this back up, maybe make a video like this once every month if I can. If that's too much, then once every couple months. Just to reiterate the point I've been making for years, and it is a point, a philosophy, a mindset that quite frankly, everybody should share. I don't mean to sound rude or controlling when I say that. This is, after all, in the end, just my opinion, and whether you want to share it or consider it is completely up to you. However, as an enthusiast in video games, I feel the need to bring this up, so I'm going to keep bringing this up. And that is that every video game ever is repetitive, and calling a video game repetitive cannot be a criticism. It's an invalid criticism. A non-existent criticism. Because every single video game in existence is repetitive. Yet I still see the big review sites, video game media, big YouTube personalities, popular critics, and even video game enthusiasts like myself using the word repetitive as a negative, as a con, as a detriment to a video game. And it blows my mind. It simply blows my mind that people still use repetition in video games as a negative, as something they dislike from a video game. It's hypocritical. In the end, it is just downright hypocritical, because every video game is repetitive. What's your favorite video game of all time? Legend of Zelda? It's repetitive. What about the Witcher Free Wild Hunt? It's repetitive. Maybe it's Overwatch. It's repetitive. The Last of Us? Repetitive. Shadow of the Colossus? Repetitive. BioShock Infinite. Super Mario Bros. Sonic the Hedgehog. Mass Effect. Dragon Age. Fire Emblem. Pokemon. And the list goes on and on and on. All of those video games are repetitive. Every video game in existence, every video game that's been made, is currently being made, and is going to be made. Past, present, and future video games in their entirety, every single one of them, is repetitive. I apologize in advance for my repetition in repeating this point consistently. When it comes down to it, and I'm being honest with you, I am just annoyed. I am annoyed that such an amazing art form, such an amazing entertainment, such an amazing form of media, how anyone can just boil down these amazing experiences you can get from video games, just boil them down to, oh, the game's repetitive. What about reading books? What about watching movies? What about doing exercise, doing sports? What about eating? What about sleeping? It's all repetitive. Life is based around repetition, and there's nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely, positively nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with repetition. And since everything is repetitive, you can't call something repetitive. An argument I hear from gamers so often is, well, the game was fun at first, but then it got repetitive. What the hell are you talking about? It was repetitive from the beginning to the end. What, are you expecting the video game to consistently wow you with new gameplay and mechanics and visuals every single second you play? That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous expectation. Now, there's nothing wrong with getting bored of video games. There's nothing wrong with just not having fun with a video game anymore. It happens. It never happens to me because I'm special and I absolutely adore video games, but I completely understand it. After someone plays a video game for a while, they may eventually tired of it. They want a new experience. They've got their fill, they've got their enjoyment out of this experience, and they've grown weary of experiencing it, so they want something new. They want a new experience, or they want to re-experience an older experience, one that they found enjoyable, or find enjoyment in a new experience. Some people can only play a single-player game once, and then they're done with it. Others can replay that single-player game, whether it be a linear story or open-world game. They can replay it multiple times and not get bored of it. Some people, once is enough for them. Every gamer is different. Every gamer has different tastes. Every gamer has different limits to how much they want to play a particular video game. But to call a video game a lesser product, a lesser work of art, a lesser video game overall because, oh, it got repetitive, or the game is repetitive, It's a self-defeating, invalid criticism, to the point of non-existence. I would even go as far to say it's a despicable accusation to make towards a video game. Games media critics, reviewers like that at IGN or GameSpot, that give the game a lower score because they say it was repetitive. Well, it's crap. It's just flat out crap. You cannot use that as a con. You cannot lower the score of the game because it's repetitive. Because that game you previously reviewed that you gave a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 to, that game was repetitive too. Oh, you gave Uncharted and The Last of Us 10s out of 10. Well, guess what? Both those games were repetitive. So how can you give this other video game a lower score for being repetitive when those other video games you gave 10s out of 10 to were repetitive? Like I said earlier, there's nothing wrong with growing tired of a video game. It happens. That personally doesn't happen to me, but it happens to other people and I understand why. But calling a video game repetitive is almost like invalidating your own experience with a game. Yeah, I was enjoying the game at first, but then it got repetitive. Wait, so what you were enjoying about the video game previously all of a sudden just stopped? Because you're playing the same video game, it hasn't changed. It didn't transform halfway through you playing it into a different experience. It's still the same game. How can it be that a video game you were enjoying, the enjoyment just all of a sudden just stopped because the game got repetitive? How did it get repetitive? Well, you're just shooting bad guys over and over, while you're just solving puzzles over and over, while you're just platforming over and over. But what about your favorite video games of all time? The games you keep coming back to and playing over and over. You're still doing the same thing over and over in those video games, and yet you're still enjoying yourself, yet those video games are repetitive and you are continuing and investing in the repetition of that particular video game. When it comes down to it, when it really comes down to the nitty-gritty, it's really choice of words and choice of expressing yourself. People can get bored or tired of video games. Instead of just going to the default, oh, this video game has become repetitive, this video game is repetitive. Think of it like, or state that, oh well, I've had my fill of this game. I'm tired of this game now. This game just isn't for me. And there you go. That's perfectly fine. Now, some of you are probably wondering why I take such an issue with this. Because, in my opinion, when you criticize a video game for being repetitive, you're lying. You're lying. You're spreading misinformation on a video game because you're giving the impression that there's something about this particular video game that makes the repetition of this video game stand out, and you're also giving the impression that other video games can't be repetitive, when every video game is repetitive. And again, I apologize, like I did beforehand, for my repetition, but I'm going to keep being repetitive for the sake of reminding and enforcing the fact that every video game is repetitive. So when you say, oh, this video game is repetitive, you're spreading misinformation. Because, oh, wait, that game's repetitive? But what about this game, and that game, and every other video game in existence? What makes this game so special in its repetition? Wait, you lowered the score of this video game because you said it was repetitive, but you didn't lower the score of this video game and it's repetitive. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you get the gist? I know for a lot of people this isn't a big deal, and that's totally understandable, but for me, I'm gonna keep pressing this. I'm gonna keep enforcing this. I'm gonna keep being repetitive about this. Because video games deserve better. These forms of art and media and storytelling and epic experiences, they deserve better than to be boiled down to, oh, it's repetitive. My butt. Anyways, that's been a video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did indeed like the video, please hit the like button. Hitting the like button helps you, helps me, helps everybody involved with the video. If you hit the like button, please leave a comment. What are your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on the topic of this video? Let me know in the comment section below. I love reading comments. I get nearly enough comments. Please leave a comment. If you want to help out and support this video, then please share it on social media, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you want to help out and support me directly, then consider pledging to me and becoming a patron on my Patreon. Anyways, guys, that's been a video, and I will see you all later.